Where is the love? Love is gone. Grace is gone. Grace is what's missing in the United States. Those 5 seconds of thinking before reacting to an opinion that's different from yours. Those 5 seconds of, you know what? I don't get it, but that's their opinion. Everyone's angry, not me. You know why? Because I have this rest in my heart, this peace, this overwhelming peace. So I want to try my best to help you all, new viewers. Hello, by the way. New viewers, I want you to feel the peace that I feel. And I want to also express the frustration that you probably feel and offer some solution to it. This video is for the people who have felt distant from their friends for the past few years, the people who feel like you can't have the same relationships you had before, if you're feeling trouble or something at work, if you are feeling like you just don't understand the world we live in anymore. It's just this pull, this tug of war you feel. So I'm going to talk about that tug of war today. By the way, you're not going to like this video if you have a problem with people who have different opinions. I don't care, okay? That's because, again, I feel this rest in my heart. The rest of, I don't care what you think. I don't care what anyone thinks, because guess what? As a Christian woman, and by the way, apparently a lot of people were triggered by that over Easter. I didn't know that people didn't know I was Christian. I don't talk about it as I thought it was obvious, and I didn't feel the need to, but from my perspective, since everyone likes to have their opinions out there, and we all have our own, right? From my perspective, as someone who does follow a certain religion, this life here that you're seeing me, a little cute necklace, a dress, this life is temporary. Everlasting life is something that I believe in, right? So for me, in this short time, in the 365 days a year that I have, for the next, 80-something years, hopefully, whatever, I'm 26, okay? However long I live, do you think in this time frame, compared to then, that I'm concerned about what you think about me? Do you really think I go to bed at night being like, gosh, I hope, Princess Fairy 466 is pleased with what I had to say today? I don't care! I do not care, okay? So many people are like, I'm unfollowing you because you said you're Christian. I'm unfollowing you because you spoke to Jesus. I'm like, I don't care, okay? And yes, this is my job. You guys gotta keep in mind, like, I get paid, okay? I get paid, whether you subscribe or not. When you have a certain amount of views and you know what I mean? What I'm saying is, by you leaving, you're not hurting me. You're just revealing to yourself and to me that you can't handle conflict in your life. Guess what? There is no safe space in these streets. So my opinion today, to go right on that, is that a lot of people are missing grace right now. The grace to not get angry or upset in general. This is not about, whatever current events are going on. This is just in general. There's a grace that is missing. I have to work on grace every single day. Do you know how many people have been so downright nasty to me the past few years? Let me tell you guys a story. Okay, I had the worst few years prior to 2020. And I mean the worst. Like the worst, take what you think is the worst and multiply that by 2. Okay, we all have our own stories, right? Without getting too detailed into it, if you don't know, and if you're a new viewer, thank you for making it this far, by the way. There is tiramisu for you in the future. I will buy you dessert one day. I really like tiramisu. That's the thing about me. My dad passed away suddenly, quite randomly. There really was no warning. It was like a week and a half warning, right? No one in his family called me. One person did, and he had the nerve to get smart with me over something. I dealt with that alone, okay? I'm not bragging about that hardship, but hear me out. During this already horrible time, which I'm still dealing with, grieving, right? And I'm living in the smack dab middle of Manhattan. I got people telling me, why aren't you using your voice to speak about these issues? Why aren't you using this? I'm like, do you think I'm concerned about that right now? Okay, mind you, there's this noise, right? And then there's this noise of, oh my goodness, this just happened to me. My life has forever changed. I have to learn how to live without my dad in it. I don't know how you would call it, hospice care nurse, something like that. Had the nerve to kind of just get way too deep and involved. Basically, this person is feuding with me saying, I want this from, inheritance. I want this. By the way, I didn't get an inheritance. I'm not rich by any means. I did not inherit anything of that sort. I inherited some old Jet magazines and some beer bottles and some Black and Mild, just to be clear. I'm talking about a vehicle and some possessions, right? This woman, who's in a very, what I consider to be low vibrational energy, okay, that's my gracious way of saying she's mean. She really had the nerve amongst my grieving to try to fight with me over the one thing he had, which he specifically said to my mom and I That is for Kelly. She's never had a car before. I'm leaving that for her. Granted, he had dementia, whatever. He doesn't know that at the time I was living in New York City, I did not need a car. There's no way to communicate to someone with dementia, so that's a whole different thing. I'm dealing with demented dad on my own, don't know what's going on, don't know how to explain this. I'm living with like 4 roommates in New York City, making ends meet as a brand new budding YouTuber. I got people attacking me on social media saying, you're black, why aren't you talking about this? Kelly, you're female, why aren't you talking about this? Da, 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 da. Naming all these like things that make me a minority, although there's nothing minor about my existence. They are spending all this time telling me what I should and should not be doing. Guess what? I had grace for all these people. I forgave the people who were nasty to me online. I forgave this lady, even though she doesn't deserve it. I forgave this terrible, nasty person who was trying to fight with me over the little bit of possessions that my dad had. By the way, I gave it to her. I actually ended up needing a car because I ended up moving down here, down to Florida, right? But I bought my own fan money. That was the last thing he left for me. He left that for me and I let her have it. Guess what happened? The next day, I kid you not, I get this, I don't know why, this one particular video blew up, and then I got a brand deal where it was paying me more than the car value itself, plus more. Basically, I got a really fat paycheck from 3 different sources the next day. And then I got invited on a trip to go to a fashion show somewhere. This happened literally the next day. I didn't go to that fashion show because I was too busy grieving, but I chose to, like, grace to forgive these people attacking me, writing me nasty things on social media. Horrible, horrible time in my life. I said, you know what? I choose forgiveness. I prayed that night. You don't have to pray, but I'm just telling you guys. I prayed and I said, give me the grace to deal with these people. I feel like I'm not equipped for this. I keep swinging my ponytail, by the way, because I just look crazy, and I just felt compelled to make this video. I was actually driving to get sushi. But anyway, I found the grace in my heart to forgive. And I'm like going through this horrible time, and boom, the next day, I was blessed. Okay? So my point is, those who can't forgive oftentimes forget all that they've been forgiven for. Oh, look at that good lighting. Stay right there, sir. Those who can't forgive oftentimes forget all that they have been forgiven for. There we go. I'm saying that right. I have made so many mistakes in my life, but still, in my opinion, I'm forgiven. I'm saved by grace, sort of. And good things just keep happening to me. Every time you choose high ground, you know, it's incredible. So anyway, how does this relate to the rest of the video? I have been challenged so many times, like I think many of you. He's gonna leave this light on like this. Okay, this is kind of nut. Thank you, sir. Now, choosing the higher ground with your friendship, conflict, whatever it is that you're dealing with lately. This is what I really am talking about. Granted, I was in New York City. It's not inherently an evil place. Let me reiterate that. It's not inherently evil, because I'm in Miami, which probably is. It's a godless city, okay? Whatever. The point is, I have so much grace and patience now with others, with myself, with everything going on, where I can live anywhere and thrive anywhere because my values are so strong. They weren't before, though. I had a lot of ambiguity in my heart. I didn't know where I stood. I was like, if I'm hanging out with these people who I used to hang out with for years, it's going to start pouring rain in a second. If I hang out with these old finance bro friends of, you know, like one of my ex's friends, they're all, by the way, doing all sorts of things that you think they do in finance, which are completely true. You know, they're trying to drag me out doing this, do this with me, do that. I thought, well, I can go and just go home at the end of the day and it's fine. You know, it's fine, whatever. I'm not the one participating in it. I can't sit here. Oh my gosh. One of the people of the past. What'd you say about me? No, but really, I am very protective over my energy, right? You don't have to be Christian to get this part at all. You don't have to be Christian to believe any of this. I'm just saying, this is my testimony. When I distance myself from people who I think were taking my energy, their negativity was pouring into my heart, it was corrupting my opinions about XYZ, you know, I couldn't deal with it. I just can't relate anymore. Let's keep it that simple. Maybe you can't relate to your old friends anymore because of the behaviors that they're doing, and here's why. Let's see. Oh yeah. I was at the church that I go to here in Miami, at like the young adult group when we met up. When you fall deeper in love with Jesus Christ, you have a greater hatred for sin, okay? Even if you're not Christian, when you fall deeper in love with yourself and your identity, and you know what you're about, you're maturing, but you feel like maybe your other friends aren't maturing at your speed. You have to constantly slow yourself down or dumb yourself down to hang out with them. You're tired of explaining things that made sense to you when you were 18 and now you're 28 and you're like, where does this lead me? I don't know. In New York City specifically, this happens anywhere, okay? But in New York City specifically, all the old friends that I had were friends of, you know, a certain ex where they all work at, you know, big company. They all make over like $500K a year and they're all like 26 to 27 to 28, which is very impressive. There's not a lot of people who could do that, okay? Extremely high earning people, like how I was the past few years. I was in the same mindset. I didn't think it would happen to me, but it did. Your focus is money. You see people as disposable. You see everything as disposable. Well, I'll just make it to the next day. It's fine. Or I don't care about this. It's fine. You don't want to drink with us. Like, you act like you're in the program. He goes, you act way too conservative. This dude tried to sleep with me randomly after knowing me for several years. Randomly tried to sleep with me as if I was just a hole ready to use. He got upset because I didn't want to. Turned over. Like, just bye. Went to bed on his couch, whatever. And just the next day, it was like, it's like he didn't even remember it happening. And I said, you know, do you want to talk about it? Or are we just going to pretend like that didn't happen? But in his world, you know, intimacy like that is just not intimate. It's just an act and you go along. But for me, it's not. So I really found myself lost. Like, well, where do I belong? Because as a YouTuber, I should be in LA or New York for these opportunities. But guess what? I got uninvited from all these opportunities for speaking about this. For speaking about how I just can't align to modern, whatever's going on in this modern society of do now, think later. This sense of everyone is just disposable to me. Everyone's disposable. When I say I don't care about what you guys think, I mean I don't care if you get offended and leave. What I'm saying is, it's raining. I do care about my followers so much that I'm willing to speak my truth and speak about my experiences because no one else out there is going to give you advice like this. They care too much about adhering to the culture, doing what's cool, and getting the views and the clicks. And I just can't get down with it. I can't. So I guess this video is made for anyone who feels like they're going through the same thing of just feeling like you don't belong in this world right now. And there's a reason why, in my opinion. But I don't want to evangelize you. I don't want to Eva Longoria. But there's a reason why. Because this world isn't our home. Earth is not my home. Heaven is. But really, I don't care. I just don't. I don't. There's this overwhelming sense of peace, serenity. I just don't care. I don't. And I hope this video doesn't get taken down for saying the truth or what, you know, I feel it might. Well. I don't have an umbrella. I'm gonna go drive and get some food. You know what sounds good? Boston Market. A random, obnoxious rotisserie chicken through drive-thru sounds really good right now. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do in the middle of this thunderstorm. Well, class, I'm glad I got to speak to you today. And I'm really honored if any of you decided to follow me, because I never ever asked to subscribe, but I'm honored if you made the right step in your future to follow someone giving profound advice these days, which is hard to find online. But bye! Let me know what else you want me to talk about. Car talk. Kelly's Dams. Bye.